Hey guys, here is your instructions for your final graph. Remember, these three must be on your report. You've got your trial 1, time versus absorbance, with your equation, natural log, your equation, and the inverse with your equation. Looking at number 3, based on these graphs, does the rate order match what you found? Okay, so yes, these are mainly linear, but are they linear in the right way? Okay, so we're going to be working towards making a graph that looks like this. Okay, all 5 trials, all 5 equations of the line. So in order to do this, I've got the data all right here, all 5 trials. Do as I did before, I'm going to select time in seconds and absorption. And do kind of what I did before. Insert, scatter, just dots, and I get this. Okay? I want to change my layout so I have an axis and a title. This is my time in seconds. So time, second. And over here, this is my absorbance. My title is going to be absorbance data of all 5 trials. Actually capitalize things that should be capitalized. Okay, and there's the first thing. So now obviously I need to add the rest of this data. So in order to do this, I'm going to right click, select data. Okay, and I'm going to get a pop-up screen like this. Okay, series 1, I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to give it a series name. This was trial 1. Right. Next thing I need to do is I'm going to add another series. So this was trial 2. So my X values, my data, my time data, I'm going to click this button here. See how it's kind of minimized? I'm going to come over to trial 2 and take my time, and I'm holding down the left mouse key and just highlighting. And I'm going to get something that looks like this with all of these dollar signs. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to click back to this button, which is going to bring back this big thing. You notice over here, my X value is 0, 6, 12, 24, continue. If you look here, that's exactly what it is. Now I'm going to do my Y values. Here are my Y values. Highlighting all of those. Click here again. Okay. And if you see down on my graph, I now have 2 trials. So I'm going to add trial 3. I'm going to select my X for trial 3. Open the window back up. Come here. Select my Y, which is my absorption. Open the window back up and hit OK. Yeah, look at that. 3 beautiful lines going right there. Now I got to do 4. Trial 4. My X values. And my y values. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Look at my 4 lines. And the last one, trial 5. I'm going to select my x. And then I'm going to select my y. Now that I have all 5 on there, I'm just going to hit OK. Make this a little bit bigger. So next thing I got to do, if you look at our original, is I need to add trend lines. So, if you remember how to add trend lines, right click, add trend line. I want linear. I want to display my equation on chart and the R value. And there is my trend line. Just going to kind of move this over here. I'm going to end up with 5 of these, so I'm going to try not to get too confused. Okay, let's go on to trial 2, which is this red set. I'm going to add trend line, linear, display equation on chart, and R squared value. Like that. I'm going to deal with some of this formatting later. 3, add trend line. Now, you may have a different version of Excel, but all of this will still apply. Right-clicking, adding trend line, displaying our values, all of that jazz. So, right-click, click on a dot, right-click, add trend line. You might not get it popping up over here. You might get something that pops up right here. Okay. And my last one, trend line. Okay. Yeah. Now I got a lot going on in this chart. So I'm going to actually clear up some of this key. Actually going to get rid of these, the lines. I can tell that they are linear. So all I'm doing is selecting them and highlighting. See how I'm actually just highlighting that particular instance and then deleting it, and it goes away. But you notice the equation doesn't. There's just a lot going on in this graph. Bigger. This a little smaller. Playing around with stuff just to make sure it fits. Now I want to keep this key because that tells me which trial these are. Now, I want these lines to be as linear as possible. So in looking at my graph, I noticed that like here on trial 1, these first 3 trials kind of sucked. So I'm actually going to get rid of them. So I'm going to come over here to my data, and I'm literally just going to get rid of the time. And if you look, as I was getting rid of the time, my graph changed, and my line of my equation changed. So now, whatever I do to one, I must do to them all. So I'm just literally going to delete all of these first 3 instances. Yours might be a little bit different, depends on how your data looks. You do not want to get rid of more than 3 on either end. So you can either do it the first 3 or the last 3. So there is that graph. Now the analysis, as I mentioned before, you got to get this number from these equations of the lines. So this number, the rate, is actually the slope of your line. So if you look at trial 1, my slope is 0.0025x, so that is my rate. Going over to trial 2, which is my red squares, that's why we wanted to keep this part of the key, so we didn't get confused. Trial 3 is my triangles, which is also 0.18. My purple X's, and my blue stars. Okay. Now, after I fill in all of this, I'm going to start doing what I've done before. Okay, iron chloride here, iron 3 chloride, is being held constant. 0.01 into 0.005, that's divided by 2, and 0.0025 and 0.0018, well, that's about 2. So 2 to what power is 2? Well, that's 1. So that means the rate order with respect to potassium iodide is 1. Now you're going to have to figure out what iron chloride is. So all together you can come back here and see if what you figured out here at the beginning, what we did first, matches your results. So if you look at the actual lab, write the rate law for your overall expression. So that's going to be something like rate, is equal to K I forgot 3. And we said that's to the first power. And then, oh wait, we don't know what iron chloride is. You've got to figure that out. And then potassium iodide. We said was to the first. So you still got to figure out, what number goes here. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? What is it? Okay, so your answer should look something like this. M. You got to figure out what in the world is M. What is the reaction order? Remember that's N plus N. Comparing what you get for number 2. Does this match that? And is it possible to calculate rate constant? So you got to tell me that one. Okay, can you figure out rate constant? Think carefully about what you actually used in these problems and what we actually need to be able to figure out the rate constant.